Protein intake is
Protein.
big. You know, that mass research review that Eric did, which a lot of people don't have access to, but basically he reviewed a bunch of literature by a scientist by the name of Antonio. Man, protein, we've always kind of known that it's kind of that magic macronutrient, but it's revealing itself to be even more important, you know.
Is there anything changed there in terms of recommended amount per, like, if, as far as
not really.
Okay.
You know, the recommended amounts that we have in the nutrition pyramids, it's still pretty much in line with that. But
Okay.
you know, the one big difference is just basically how it looks, you know, body composition, you know, and kind of those kind of things. Because even when you're in a surplus in the past, I've said, yeah, we can get away with a little bit less protein, which we can when it comes to building muscle, right? When it comes to building muscle, you don't have to have quite as much protein if you're in a surplus.
Right.
Boy, it sure does. The body composition sure does look a whole lot better, you know, when we are having higher protein while we're being in that surplus, you know, and I don't even think we know yet why that is, but yeah, it's just that's the big thing is when people are in a surplus, I kind of like I let people know I'm transparent. It's like you don't have to be that high in protein, you know, but it looks better if you do, you know, and
Interesting.
a lot of us we're in this sport because we kind of want to look better, right?
Yeah, it's like insurance almost. It's like an insurance policy to keep it up a little higher, above 1 gram per pound. Maybe go 1.1, 1.2. Is that kind of what you're thinking in terms of like?
Well, I'd have to get my calculator out because I kind of think in terms of kilos, you know. But yeah, I was just talking to somebody the other day. I'm like, you could probably let your protein go up as high as 2.8 grams per kilo. You know,
per kilo. Okay.
So, and I think that was, I think if I did it real quickly just with pounds, but I want to say it was about maybe 1.5 grams per pound or something like that. I'd have to pull up a little calculator in order to figure it out exactly. But this was 100, I think it was 180-ish pounds, something like that. And I think I said he could get up to I don't remember what it was, but you know, that's kind of the way that I was thinking is up to 2.8 grams per kilo. That's pretty high. And you know, you could arguably get away with that, you know, as long as, especially with me, you know, I'm kind of that being that healthcare provider, you know, let's make sure that your creatinine's not too terrible high, and your you know, all those blood values and liver functions and things like that don't get too high, because I've been there too, you know.
Right.
Brad's taking in 330 grams of protein.
That's high. That is high for your body weight.
I was doing it for a while, you know, back in my bro days, you know, and yeah, my blood levels showed it. So.
And you don't go as high. You don't go that high now, I assume.
No, nowhere near that high.
Where are you sitting at roughly?
Right now I can pull up my sheet. It's between 170 and 200.
Okay, yeah. So
I'm at any given day.
Okay, gotcha. So almost like just above, just maybe a little bit more than a gram, and sometimes a little less than a gram per pound for the listeners, because I did the calculation there. So training splits. I know you talked about yours and kind of where you're at now. In the past, you've done max OT. I'm sure you've tapped into some of the, you know, you got the upper lower, you got full body. Maybe you can talk about this for those listening, your experience with some of those things and what maybe some of them had to offer